And sometimes you also want to bid on competing products. You know, like if the leader in the industry is the XM100, and you know I'm not nearly as popular as that specific product is, or that specific brand, I want to create content around that keyword, or at least have that keyword in my campaign, so when people search for that, they can also find me. And also you have to think about attracting the right audience to the site. For example, we work with most of our clients are CEOs or top-level executives in medium-sized companies. And one of the major challenges they face is how to increase their productivity, how to get more things done. So, you know, one of the articles I wrote a couple of weeks ago is how to increase productivity. And this is not specifically related to search engine optimization, which is the service we offer, but this will bring the right audience to my site. And once the right audience is on my site, they can learn a little bit more about the products we offer and how we can help them. Okay, we talked about getting this huge list of a lot of different keywords. Now, let's talk a little bit about how do you analyze your keywords to find which ones work and which ones are not going to work for you. And the way you do the keyword analysis is different if you're doing SEO than if you're doing pay-per-click. So now we're going to talk about keyword analysis for SEO. The first thing what you want to look at is the search volume. How many people are searching for a specific keyword? And for this, I use the Google keyword tool. And by default, the broad checkbox here will be checked. So you don't want to check on that. You want to uncheck the broad and check the exact. You want to see how many people are searching for that exact keyword, not for something that is similar or a little bit like that. Now you want that specific keyword, so you want to click on exact. And you care about the local monthly searches. So for example, buy electric guitar has 480, whereas a cheap electric guitar has 1,900 searches a month, and electric guitars for sales has 2,400. Okay, so you want to see how many people are searching for each of the keywords you're analyzing. You also want to care about you also care about the ranking. Where are you ranking for a specific keyword? And the tool I use for this is this one right here, the SEO box. I'm sorry, the SEO book rank checker. Or if you go to Google and just search for rank checker, you'll find it. And the reason why you care about your current ranking is because let's say you're on the fence between keyword A and keyword B, but for keyword A, you're in position 11. Whereas for keyword B, you're in position 200. Well, the first keyword, keyword A, is really close to the first page of Google. So with a little bit of SEO, you'll be right there. Whereas with keyword B, a lot of work needs to be done for you to get to the first page. So that's another thing you want to look at: how close you are to the first page and to the top 3 results in Google. The other thing you want to analyze is how competitive these keywords are. And I use the SEO Moz keyword difficulty tool. And this is a paid tool, and I really haven't found anything free for this. At least nothing really worth your time. And this will show you how difficult it's going to be to rank for a specific keyword based on how many people are competing or how many websites are competing for that keyword. So for example, for rugby, the difficulty score is 73%, very difficult. Buy rugby ball is significantly easier, whereas buy blue rugby ball is even easier. Okay, so the broader the keyword, the more difficult it will be for you to rank for it. And finally, you want to check relevancy. And relevancy is basically how likely someone searching for a keyword is to buy your product or hire your services? Let me say that again. How likely is someone searching for that keyword to buy something from you? And the first thing is use your common sense. You know, let's say I sell rugby balls. Someone searching for rugby, that's not very relevant because this person could be searching, could be looking to learn a little bit more about what rugby is, or to search for rugby videos, or the rules of the game. You know, they're not necessarily trying to buy a ball. But if someone is searching for buy rugby ball, that's extremely relevant. And if I sell blue rugby balls, this is even more relevant. Okay. Also keep in mind that the more specific the keyword is, the fewer people will be searching for it. Okay. So you don't want something that is too narrow. But at the same time, you don't want something that is way too broad that will take you forever to rank on Google for, or if you're doing pay-per-click, will cost you a fortune, and the conversion rate will actually be very low because those people weren't really looking for what you have to sell. And think about the buying cycle. For example, let's say I want to buy a car, but I don't know what car. So I start my buying cycle by searching for best 2011 cars. And let's say I really like the 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So I search for that. And I'm like, well, I really like this car. Where can I get it? And then I search for Jeep dealerships in Los Angeles. Okay? So you want to grab people at the end, right here, at the end of the buying cycle, not when they're getting started. And these are a couple of examples of keywords. So for example, if I sell rugby gear, for example, rugby positions is not relevant. That's, you know, what position the players are in the field is not relevant to what I have to sell. But I really care about rugby jerseys, for example, or rugby shirts. Definitely not rugby news. Okay, I might want to add it as a secondary keyword, and this is something we're going to talk a little bit about later. And maybe that's the keyword I want to use for my blog, but I don't want to use this for my main SEO campaign. And definitely, if I'm doing pay-per-click, I don't want to pay Google for these kind of keywords, because this is going to get me a lot of people searching for information, but nobody really ready to buy anything. Okay, and international rugby, you know, that's another example of a keyword I don't want to have, or rugby matches, or rugby union. But cheap rugby gear, if I sell cheap rugby gear, that would be a good one. Now, if what I sell is very expensive, then I don't want to go after this keyword. And the other thing you have to consider is whether your keywords have more than one meaning, or when people search for that keyword, what they're actually searching for. So I did a search for buy mouse, for example, and you see, you know, like some stuffed animals and some computer mouses, right? So this will make your job twice as hard, because you'll be competing. Let's say you sell computer mouses, you'll also be competing against all these different people selling mouse costumes and mouse like stuffed mouses, stuff like that. All right, so always keep that in mind. So let's talk a little bit about choosing the right keywords, okay? Because we talked a lot about getting this huge list of keywords with the keyword discovery process, and then we talked about narrowing it down using the 4 criteria I mentioned before: search volume, difficulty, relevancy, and ranking. Now, how do you choose the right keywords? Well, there are 2 different kinds of keywords we're going to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about the primary keywords. And this is where you want to put 90% of your time, 90% of your SEO efforts, you want to put them on these specific keywords. And usually you want about between 5 and 15 primary keywords. And these are the ones you're going to be doing all the link building for, and the big stars of your SEO campaign. And for these keywords, you want 50% of them to be broad and the other 50% to be long tail. And a broad keyword is, something like for example, rugby gear. Okay, you don't want to go as broad as rugby, okay, because people searching for rugby, they might be actually searching for videos or content. You wanna go after rugby gear. That's as broad as you want to go. But you also want to go after the long tail. Like, let me have some water. Okay, I'm back. I was dying over here. Anyway, so you want to go after broad keywords, but the other 50% of your keywords should be a long tail. A long tail is another word for very specific, very relevant, very targeted. Okay, so some examples could be All Blacks rugby jersey, or Australia rugby jersey, or Canterbury rugby boots. Okay, something very specific. And the reason why you want to have 50% of broad keywords and 50% of long tail is because the long tails, first you're going to rank on the first page of Google faster because they're usually not as competitive as the broad keywords. So you want to have those long tail keywords, but at the same time, you want to know that eventually you're going to get a lot of traffic. Okay, and you're not going to get a lot of traffic from the long tail. You're going to get a lot more traffic from the broad keywords. Okay, so you want to balance both. The broad keywords at the same time, they will take you longer to rank for on Google. So you want to start with both, and you're going to start seeing some traffic